subsidized 50 kilograms of milled rice at 40,000 naira. Now, to obtain the rice, citizens must present documents including the National Identification Number (NIN), an ID card, and an ATM card for registration and payment. After completing these steps, beneficiaries will need to clear a separate verification process by government officials before receiving their rice. Now, let's bring the conversation home. I'll start with the BKO. BKO, the Burundi State Senator, Ali Ndume, he's been speaking a lot lately. And in the area of high cost of food, the fact that many Nigerians are finding it difficult to afford it. What are your thoughts on the things he's raised?
He has raised a very valid points. He's been methodical this time by saying that he knows some people are misleading the president, some people around him, they are the ones pushing this economic agenda that is inflicting pains on our people. He's careful not to ruffle feathers as much as he did the last time, for which he had to apologize to the party. Certainly, I align with his message, because our people are going through a lot. Whatever the president can do to ease the pains on our people, he has to do it and do it quickly. I agree absolutely on that, and I've also talked about the need to ease the pains on our people here. We cannot pretend not to know that things are really bad. If you are comfortable, you must think of other people who are not comfortable, who go through a lot just to put food on their table. So we must always have them in their thoughts. And I think that Ali Ndume's message is a good one, and I hope that government will find a way to address those concerns, because he wasn't speaking for his people, for himself. He was speaking for the people. And he wants to be on the good side of history as someone who tried to get the government to do his best to ease the pains on our people. And he's saying that we have to fight inflation better, we have to stabilize the economy, that farmers find it difficult to transport produce from their farms to the markets, because of high cost of transportation occasioned by increase in food prices. And he also said the hardship inflicted by these price hikes in the country are unimaginable, and he wants the president to prioritize addressing those issues once he comes back from his vacation. I think that this needs to be done. Even without Ndume saying it, every one of us knows that we need to do something.
Exactly.
If we must tax the rich so that we can make the poor happier, nothing says we cannot do that. There was a certain man, Robin Hood, when I was growing up. They were showing his movies. We were watching his movies, Those were the days before CKN grew a mustache.
He just had to go there.
No.
Must too good.
Yes. Ask him if he didn't watch black and white
of course,
Robin Hood movies in those days. So Robin Hood robbed the rich and gave the poor. So we have to do our best, tax the rich, make things easier for the poor. That is Ndume's message. I like the way he presented it this time, not
without ruffling feathers.
Yeah, without using fighting words and generally being undisciplined in the way he conveyed this message. Because as a party man and as a senator, you are part of the government.
True.
You can't deceive yourself that you are not part of the government. You know, the executive does not run the government alone. Some policies, some of the are products of the laws that the National Assembly comes up with to make things easier, to facilitate better running of the country. So he is part of the government. He belongs to the ruling party. So he cannot speak like somebody on the outside looking in.
Exactly.
So that
He's
is
already part of it.
that is what I quarreled against. So he's done it now the right way. Good language suggests that he cares for the poor. I care for the poor too. I say that that
we
all
all
the
do.
time. That look, things must get better. We all feel this pain.
True.
One way or another.
We all do.
If my son, my last born, at the time that he got into secondary school, his school fees was 80,000 naira.
Yeah, I think he said.
Today it's more than 400,000.
400, yeah, he said
So are you going to tell me that I'm not feeling the pinch? I feel the pinch. You feel the pinch. You
We all
feel
do.
the pinch. We all go to the market. There is no separate market for people like us. And the middle class does not exist anymore in our country.
Sure.
It's either you are rich or you are poor. So I appreciate him for the extent that he's gone. And at least he has not incited the people. He has spoken for the people, and God bless him.
Again, the senator also said some things. He talked about the people, talked about bad advisors, and he said that they are sabotaging the government. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yes, taking up from where BK stopped, he was talking about the days when he has not grown beards like me. And we have to take a big bath. We should be talking to people like you, the young ones.
Yes.
I know you met black and white, but not as much as we did today.
I agree.
We used to hit the TV
for it to come on.
And also when we used to use Lucozade, that nylon
to make it colored.
To deceive ourselves that we are watching colored TV.
The days we used to watch TV from the windows of our neighbors. For those of us that are not rich enough. Yes,
but that was what pushed many of our parents to go and buy TV.
Of course. Now.
All those Sanyo TV, those ones with
a cupboard,
put inside and lock it.
You know, so in the days where they used to padlock telephone and rest of the but those are nostalgic days.
Sure.
Yeah, but for me, Senator Ali Ndume has been so consistent. For me, he's one of the politicians I so much like. He has proven himself to be a voice of the voiceless and the downtrodden to a large extent. Most of colleagues don't do what he does. They always like to be on the safe side of the fence. You can hardly see most of his colleagues coming out to talk on issues like this. All they're interested in is the allowances and the basic thing. Those of them that attend plenary and the rest of them. But Ali Ndume should also feel it the more because if you know where he comes from, he's from Borno State. And when you know consistently the issue of insecurity in Borno State, especially the part of Borno State where he comes from, where we have a high level of IDPs, we have a lot of people displaced from their places. There's a point, I don't know whether he has started going now, maybe VK can confirm that. There are for years, Ali Ndume could not go to his local government in Borno State.
Yeah, that's
his hometown.
Then he goes to, yes, his hometown.
His hometown.
Yes.
But he goes to Goza.
When you go to Goza,
Okay,
but his hometown.
He's from Ambagda. Ambagda is the village that he comes from.
Okay.
He has not gone there.
Yes.
Because of the insecurity.
Yes.
2014. But he goes to Goza.
He goes to Goza, but he cannot go to his own
village. He can't go to his village.
He stays in Borno and go to Goza, but he cannot access his own because of level insecurity. They're now coupled with the level of high cost of it. So he knows what he's talking about. And he has genuinely spoken the minds of many Nigerians. The president should do something about the issue of especially food security. People are no longer talking of, before you say, oh, governments must give us good roads, governments must give us water, governments must give us good health. Now, people are talking more about the issue of feeding their stomach.
Yes. I agree.
Yes.
He talked about the issue of bad advisors.
Yes.
Who are those persons? What should the president be doing?
Obasanjo said something during his time. He appointed advisor.
Yes.
You can advise him. It is left for him to take his advice. That is Obasanjo. But current government, the fact is that you need to ask yourself whether those that were appointed by the president are telling the president the true situation of things. Most of them wouldn't. Most of them, because of the fear or because of what they get or what not losing their position, will not come out to tell the president the right.
Is it on politics reasons or competence reasons?
Both. Both. I'm telling you, it's both. Both politically and also competence. There are few people that can walk up to the president and tell him the truth. And the one I want to be first and foremost is the wife of the president. The wife of the president can walk up to the president and say, as a mama will call him as the mother of the nation, can walk up to the president and say, my husband, darling, even when it's not when everybody's there, when they're in the other room, he can walk up to the president and say, President, for goodness sake, things are hard for people. And he knows that. Then, and also, but the fact remains that some of the politicians that are walking around the president are not telling him the truth. They always paint a glorious picture to make believe that everything is well. But as I land on this, who are the people I want to be hearing from now? Minister of Agriculture. Very, very fundamental. Minister of Water Resources. Very, very fundamental. Just leave that of finance and the rest of them. But those two key people, those are the people that need to be talking to Nigeria and telling us what this government is doing to be able to be.
All right, Biko, let's talk about rice. The 40,000 naira price rice. How can people assess it and how sustainable is it? Some have said, I hope it's not going to be for party members alone or for civil servants. How can Nigerians assess this rice?
It is a good policy. I was speaking with the governor of Imo State recently, and I said, you guys, if you will make this rice available rather than at cheap prices, rock bottom prices, rather than distributing it for free and it's not getting to the people, I would really appreciate it. And they said, yes, this is what we are thinking of doing. Because some people hijack it along the way and rebag. We've seen videos of people rebagging. We've even seen rice donated by federal government being rebagged by some states with the pictures of the governor and all that. All of this nonsense we do not need. Make this thing accessible. Sit down. Think of how best this can get to the poorest of the poor. All of these conditions are just too... So people who are hungry, some will drop dead before they are able to fulfill some of these conditions.
Okay, you're talking about the NIN, the ID card.
Yes.
There are two steps.
There are many of our people who do not even have... You're asking them to produce... no, not just NIN. Even the credit card and all that.
ATM card?
Yes, that's what I mean by credit card. A lot of people in our rural areas, they don't have it. Some don't even have phones. Make it easier for them to be able to access it. That is why many people are saying, oh, they're talking about 40,000 naira rice. We've not even seen it. It's bad enough that it's 40,000 rice. Costing 40,000 naira is what we are talking about. Because some years back, it was just about 7,000.
Yeah, true.
But make it a lot easier for people to be able to access it. If you want to help in a very conducive way. Not to create all kinds of roadblocks, IMF conditionalities, just for people to be able to access a bag of rice. So I think that they must still find a way to
still cut down.
Yes, on some of these. The people, I don't understand if you create all of these log jams just so that people can access rice. At the end of the day, a lot of the people it is meant for won't be able to access it because the poorest of the poor, don't even use
all of these documents.
Yes. You know, so what do you gain if the poorest of the poor cannot access it? Conditional cash transfer and other interventions are meant for the poorest amongst us, not the rich, not the comfortable. So those coming up with these policies, they need good advisors. They should not behave like head in the clouds kind of people.
So it should be reviewed.
Of course, these conditionalities are just too many.
Okay.
What we must concentrate on ensuring that it does not get to the wrong people.
Exactly.
But we must find a way to be able to get it across to those who need it the most.
CK,
in just 10 seconds, do you agree with BK?
Of course, I do. These IMF conditions that are being given doesn't make any sense. Are they assessing loan? Are they going for a loan? You're asking somebody to come and buy a 40,000 bag of rice. You say I should bring my national ID card. The next thing you ask me to bring my grandmother just because I need to get it. It doesn't make any sense. In fact, what I feel we should do is that let us try and flood the market with enough rice. Kogi can produce rice. Ebonyi can produce rice.
Okay.
So many places in Nigeria can produce rice, including Cross River State. Let us flood this. That's why I say the Minister of Agriculture should be talking now for goodness. What's his name? Do you know his name? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. And the president is talking about his role. It's time he reshuffle this cabinet. Let us know those that we need to go and those that need to work. Please.
All right, let's go straight to our next story. The more we condemn activities of purveyors of fake news, it appears the more fixated they are. A misleading photo suggesting President Bola Tinubu is on a hospital bed in London is the latest fake story they are circulating. The social-political group Northern Alternative Forum has condemned circulation of the fake photo, describing it as malicious, preposterous and wicked. The forum, popularly referred to as the Northern Mafia, called on security agencies to carry out a thorough investigation into the source of the viral photo in order to bring those who circulated the photoshopped photograph to book. Now, in a statement by its national chairman, Gidado Ibrahim, the group maintained that the false information is an embarrassment to Nigeria. All right, BK, the spread of these photos has now gone viral, on the media space, and it's utterly condemnable, looking at all those things they've said. But the question is, how did we get here?
It's just an abuse of social media.
Abuse of social media?
Yes. You see, if you wake up, when you disagree with people, they will start abusing you. They will accuse you of all kinds of things. They don't like your face. Now, for me, as a journalist practicing my trade in Nigeria, it's not possible for everybody to like me.
Sure.
Because when you disagree with people, they just start abusing you. They are not ready for a healthy argument. And when you want to know just how bad the situation of home training is in our country, get on social media. All of the ill-bred, a huge percentage of ill-bred Nigerians, people with no home training.
People who can't even talk to you when you see.
Who have no regard for their own parents. That's where they are. That's where they are. And they exercise the freedom that they think they have by simply abusing people, lying against people. And when you now arrest them, the same people who are happy to read what they wrote about you, laughing it off, they will now say, no, why did you arrest this person? Some time ago, one of my very good younger brothers that we met through social media, Mr. D, he had to restrain me because I wanted to pick up a woman and teach her a lesson.
Oh, really?
Yes. He begged me repeatedly. I said, I will show this person who I am in this country. Because whether the enemy likes it or not, I'm not an ordinary Nigerian. Without sounding immodest, I'm not the sort of person that you can just trample upon and get away with it. No, I can put you in your place. And I said, I will teach this person a lesson. He started begging me. So it's not, if you slander people just the way you like, and you don't expect them to respond. Look at what happened with Burna Boy.
Okay.
You are happy to slander him, lie against him. Look at what happened with Dami Crane. He was happy to slander Davido. And then Davido picked him up. It was very dark man that intervened, pleaded with Davido, release this person, please.
Freedom
the other
of speech,
guy,
they say.
It was his mother.
They had to beg.
They had to beg. And I like what the lawyer said, that all of the things that you people do and get away with, all this gra that you do, is because you've not found somebody who has your time.
Sure, I agree.
You know, these things happen. So you can imagine the people, the president. I was watching one actor, maybe he's retired now, I don't know, looking into the camera and asking, where did the president go? As if somebody cannot go on vacation again. If your father was his age, will he not take time off to rest in the course of a year? Do they know how busy people in government are? Somebody occupying that position, everyone wants his attention. Even look at us. There are times when we need our space. We say, no, please, tell them I cannot see anyone at this time. Tell them it's only Sundays that I like to see people, so that you can do your work. And the president so busy, he goes abroad to rest, and you concoct, you do some photoshopping and say that it's on hospital bed because you want to draw attention. Examples have to be made of people guilty of this aberrant behavior. Because there's an extent to which people can take insult upon insult.
Okay.
Eric Cantona was being constantly abused by a fan while he was playing for Manchester United. And he was watching that fan. He identified as the exact spot where he was. The abuse was too much. And then he let fly a kung fu kick. He got banned. But he said he had no regret. If I was in his shoes, I would not have any regret. I see them singing songs. There was one song that they were singing about Bruno Fernandes. They said, you look like a rat. Consistent singing, just insulting. I wonder sometimes how footballers are able to take all of those insults.
Sure.
And it's like that I've said before, that you can insult the president and get away with it, but you may not get away with it. No, even with a local government chairman.
Okay, local government
chairman. If you try it, he will send the dogs after you. You can even disappear. So these things happen. We saw a pastor who made an example of a woman who accused him of infidelity and all that. So people must know that these things that they are doing is only in our country, because we have not strengthened our anti-cyberbullying laws. It's only in our country that people get away with this sort of thing. And I agree that those who can go to this extent, fabricate a picture to show that the man is in a debilitating state, this and that. They said even before the election that he poo-pooed on his body. And when I saw that thing, clearly it was photoshopped. Ashwaju left that same event where they showed him speaking to a traditional ruler with what looked like a wee-wee, like a urine at the back of his dress. And I said, okay, these people, have they got brains at all? If you wee on your body, it's in the front.
Sure.
Yes, you are a man, it's in the front that will see it. How can we just be at the back like that? There is no man whose genitalia is positioned at the back. We are dealing with people who have not got brains. And somehow they promoted that thing. My people covered the thing because it moved from Shagam.
Okay.
to Ilaro.
Okay.
I said, give me the video. They gave me the video. Asiwaju was wearing the same dress.
And there was nothing.
From the video, there was nothing on his body.
That's not fair.
So then he wore the same dress to go and see the traditional ruler of Ilaro. So if he had wee-weed or poo-pooed on his body, he would still not think that it made sense to change that dress.
Exactly.
It was the same dress. I looked at both videos and I said, come on, why do people behave in this manner? All of that designed to make him look bad and not win the election. Now he's won the election. They are still trying to promote the fake news that, this person is not well. And an actor looks into the camera, where are you? Where, you have the liberty to go where you like, to travel, to go and rest. You don't want an old man to rest.
That's so,
and I think that at the end of the day, when we look at all of what our people are doing, this is gross abuse of privilege, of freedom. But we must realize that where your freedom ends is where someone's freedom begins. We must not get angry when examples are made of irresponsible.
So it won't be for justice, for Lagbaja, justice.
Yes, because people who behave like this need to be, their comeuppance needs to come, in my view. We cannot arrest everybody.
Sure.
But
one person
I sent a message to one of my friends from my village.
Okay.
Although my dad said I should no longer call it a village. I should call it a town. Fine. I said, I've identified 2 boys slandering me on Facebook. Said, if I arrest them, don't beg. Don't beg. If I identify them, nobody has a right to lie against me.
Sure.
For example, you have your day in court. You will defend that thing that you have said with the facts that you have.
Exactly.
Somebody posted something on Facebook that Jide was working for Shekau. Shekau that if he can get hold of me, he will slaughter me. So they forwarded it to me. I said, okay, leave him. A lot of them have multiple names, so we can't get hold of them. If I get hold of that one, for example, oh my God.
Should there be stiffer penalties for situations like this? And I'm going to put it into 2 now. How can, you're a veteran journalist, how can Nigerians identify fake news, fake things on social media that just falls on their laps?
Before I go to that, I will tell you that I'm going to initiate an arrest of this man sitting before me. This man that went to drop our jersey for an inglorious team.
No,
we are going to arrest. We are going to. I'm telling you now.
We are discussing.
Yes, no, we are not. Let us. Yes, we are saying something. Yes, he knows what I'm talking about. That's why he's saying.
Leave the intimidation over us.
You see, this man alone.
Leave the intimidation.
I know,
but seriously, the issue of social media, to me has become an enabler and a leveler of sorts, where people don't even know who their mates are. And it's a very big problem. And over the years, I've been talking about, if I start talking about my own at the level, what people, the kind of things that people say about me or how they see you or the kind of things they say about you, just because you appear on TV and give your opinion on certain issues, there is nothing on earth. They call you sell out, they call you at the so that this and the end of it all. To the extent that even they delve into abusing your family, that at a point. But what I've always said that nobody can intimidate me. At 57, nobody can intimidate me. It's not possible.
Now let's talk penalties.
Now, let me take a bit. It is not a Nigerian thing. Let me give a classic example. Some months back, there was an AI-generated picture of the Pope. I'm sure you saw it. Did you see it? We didn't see it. Oh, that was a generated picture of the Pope now that they did. Also, in fact, there was a particular one they did that the Pope was kissing a woman. And it was all over the place. During the time of Buhari, some people came up with this in that the man was there that he's from Sudan. Is it Sudan or Somalia? Sudan. They even gave him a name.
They cloned them.
That is a clone that they cloned him. Right, Jubril. Do you know that today, some people still believe that Buhari is dead?
Yes.
That the person that is walking around is not the president. I'm telling you that to that level of this thing.
People will call me and ask me,
yes.
Are you sure?
I say as of last week, somebody was still telling me, agree with me that Buhari was dead. I'm telling you the fact. That is the level to which now we are talking of penalty. In 2015, there was a law that was enacted by the National Assembly, which was signed into law by Goodluck Jonathan. It's called the Cybercrime Law.
Exactly.
Everything that has to do with cybercrime was embedded in it. And I said it here in one of these things that I was part of those that have been used to test that law. We have enough law. The problem we've always had is about using that law to implementing it. That has always been it. Taking a bit further, look at the few things that happened in the last few days. Let me take that of Burna Boy. Okay. When somebody was slandering Burna Boy and saying that he was doing, he was entering into somebody's London with this thing. Oh, people were. Immediately the boy was picked. What happened? All over the social media. It's the same people that were saying that they are now accusing that is a boot, that how should he go and collect arrest the boy? And they turn it. Okay. And the Burna Boy start looking as the bad person. It has happened several times again. It's talk of the video, the same thing. So, but I agree with you that the fact that we need to make example of it. But the problem I've always had is that, for goodness sake, most of the guys that do this thing, most of them are not in Nigeria. Most of the guys that
the ones who are here,
the ones that we have to start with, the ones that most of these things are generated by people that are across the globe and the end of it. But those that are here, when you are picked, let nobody come tomorrow and start saying, oh, let us leave it. Oh, it was a mistake. And because if we don't continue to test the law, then it becomes an issue. Because you cannot continue
and they won't stop.
There are some names that have built over years.
Somebody will just wake up and destroy it.
Sure. And the problem with that is that those that had that one will not have it.
Yes. When you apologize, they will not see it.
They will not see it because there's something we are told in journalism. Avoid rejoinders. Because when you have what my teacher told me at NIJ when I was doing that, avoid rejoinder. You know why? When you tell the first story, and so somebody write a rejoinder, the person that didn't do the first story will see that rejoinder and now go back to that. So, but we must make example of people and make sure that some of these things most of them are not. This issue of bailing and giving you fine. At times, I think that some people should just do the time.
Yes, do the time.
People should do the time. Not telling me that they should pay 50,000 naira.
Yes, an option of
people should do the time. Because they realize that they can be granted. This thing, and at the end of it, it's after all.
All right, gentlemen.
Cost me 100,000, 500,000.
All right,
and they continue behaving the way they're doing.
I understand, but we're pressed for time. Let's move straight to our next conversation, where Kogi State is another step closer to winning the war against insecurity. As part of efforts to tackle insecurity, the senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Sunday Karimi, built a military base in the state. According to Senator Karimi, the military base located in the outskirts of Egbe in Yagba West local government area of the state would help to improve security in Kogi and some areas in neighboring Kwara State. Speaking at the inauguration of the base, the senator said the project will help the military and other security agencies to ensure quick response in combating terrorists, kidnappers, and other criminals. He noted that the military base contained 2 hostels containing 85 bed spaces for soldiers, armory, and furnished office apartments for the commander of the base, among others. Now, BKO, this is your state now. Kogi State is getting all the help it can get to improve security in the state. Don't you agree?
Yes, and because the state is centrally located.
True.
She has a boundary with no less than 9 states.
Yeah, that was one thing.
And the FCT, and FCT. For that reason, we have our own fair share of criminal activities. Robbers coming from the north, from the south, into Kogi State. And banditry, especially kidnapping, is very common in Kogi State. That area was where robbers attacked the bank. They attacked the bank in Isonlu, very close to Egbe, and killed about 9 policemen. Wow. Yes. In fact, a woman, one of the policemen was a woman from my village, or from my town, as my dad said I should be calling it. It's a very small, very complex community, Canada, you know. And they killed 9. They went into the place, disarmed the policemen, and then proceeded to the bank in the community. Because of these constant attacks, there are very few communities in Kogi State that have banks, because robbers keep attacking banks. So when they attack banks, you see those banks don't feel like reopening those branches anymore. This is the problem that we face. And Senator Karimi just felt that, okay, if we put a military forward operation base there, it will give the soldiers the opportunity to dominate the area, show their presence, and deal decisively with the security threats that we've come to associate with that area. And look, let's face it, if you are traveling by road, wherever you see soldiers manning the highway, you feel comfortable.
Sure.
Maybe you felt like urinating for some time. The moment you can see that, okay, this place, there are soldiers here,
there.
you feel comfortable, you come down, park, and then either empty your bowel or empty your bladder. So their presence will make a difference, and they'll be able to respond quickly when reports of a threat to security get to them. So I'm happy. This is one of the things that we expect our lawmakers to be doing. Identify the needs of people in an area and do your best to solve the problem.
TKN, is it possible for senators representing states that are also riddled with this kind of insecurity also come up with things like this, reciprocity? Or is it not necessary?
It is necessary, and that's why when you talk about constituency projects.
Okay.
The function of a legislator is within about 2 or 3 fold. The primary one is issue of legislation and making of law.
True.
There's also the issue of oversight function. Then the third one is constituency projects. Those constituency projects are the one that has to do directly with the people you are representing. Your oversight function is on the executive. It doesn't have direct effect.
Yes.
You are making law. It's for the whole of Nigeria. If you are within the state, it's for the state. The constituency project is because the way it was charged is that for legislators to identify projects within their communities that the government can be able to cite. Then they make that request. Then it will be sent to the relevant MDA to go, and they are not supposed to be giving money.
Exactly.
They are not supposed to be giving money. So, but I will know what happens. But that is what. So part of their function as politicians is citing those constituency projects. So the constituency project could be water. It could be, because there are some villages that they have to trek about 4 or 5 kilometers before people can get water to drink. So if you cite water there, fine. Borehole. Yes. Some of them used to give. I'm not the type that believe in this giving of wakada and grinding machine, all those things. Those are not. You are just giving people fish. You are not teaching them how to fish. But coming to Kogi, for example, I was around that area and I was impressed. I got to see that PKO. There is a navy. This thing that have been built on that just before Lokoja.
Yes.
I was shocked. Yes. Okay. You know the place I'm talking about. Yes. I'm telling you. And that Navy base, just as Big said, they had a checkpoint at a few meters or before or after that distance. And it gives you some sign of security. Because that's a long stretch. Just few kilometers to it. And I say, wow, this is very novel. Because a thing like that is very crucial for a state like Kogi, because Kogi is surrounded by water. And if you know the topography of that area, you know that most often that within this period, water used to cover that area. I think they have done a lot of work. So I totally agree with what he said, that this senator should be commended. Because if you see the kind of thing he's doing, the issue of building not making any building this period. No be wasa. Because if you know how much cement costs, if you know how much this thing costs, if you know how much sand and the rest of them, all the things that you need to build this thing. So what he has done is to be able to create some kind. And Kogi, relatively, is one of the states that is surrounded by so many states. And that is why it's easy for people, for this level of insecurity to be. Because what they do is, they come from other states, strike in Kogi, and move. It's accessible to Enugu, it's close to Enugu. It's accessible to Ondo State. On the other side, so many Niger State, Wara, Benue, Nasarawa. It's very, very accessible. So even if they don't stay in the state,
it's like a central point.
Yes, of course. You can't access Abuja without passing to Kogi.
True.
Especially if we are coming from the south. It's not possible. Except you are going through the other side. But you can't access it. So many people pass through that Kogi state. So it's more set up. So anything that can be able to, and if you lose it in Kogi, if you lose insecurity, if you lose security in Kogi, it will filter into the FCT.
Yes.
Which is very, very fundamental. It will filter into it. It's just like Niger State. If any level of insecurity in Niger State or Kogi State, then the seat of power is in serious trouble. So we recommend, and I recommend this to other senators and House of Representative members. It is not just going and giving people grinding machine and the rest of this, you empower this thing. That is not by essence of this thing. But do something tangible that the people will feel the impact. Because even if the federal government is not getting at that level, if the state government is not getting, even the local government is not getting, then you that comes from that constituency should be able to attract. And there was a time I remember that even the military is also doing, they have what they call Army Civil Relation. There's a department that they have. Do you know that they construct roads? The army came to construct a road in my village in Obo. I was shocked. Nigerian army. Other former, I think, Yaya was the former.
They've been doing that.
They did it in my village. That was a place that was inaccessible. They not only built a road, they did a small bridge that people could pass. You will be shocked. The timeline that it was able to bridge for people to move from one part or the other. So it's something to me that is commendable. Sure. Yeah, sure. It's very, very commendable.
Sure. We also want to say thank you to Omotai Gladys for supplying us with that picture there. All right, let's move straight to another story. Another round of fuel scarcity looms in Nigeria. This time, it may be caused by a disagreement between the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, IPMAN, and the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, over increasing cost of petroleum products amidst scarcity. Speaking on the development, the National Public Relations Officer of IPMAN, Okonlawon Lariwaju, said the current price that the NNPCL is imposing on marketers is too high and might cause another round of fuel scarcity. The IPMAN spokesperson, who said the NNPCL wants to sell petrol at 1,010 naira per litre to marketers, added that the price is even higher than what it sold at its outlets. BKO. Before now, NNPC was the middleman. But after the recent increase, they said that marketers can approach Dangote to go and to directly purchase. But with this statement from IPMAN and all, what is really going on? Explain to me.
Well, I'm really disturbed that the NNPC would want to sell petrol to marketers, independent marketers, at a price even higher than what they are selling at their outlets. Because you are selling at 998 at your Lagos outlets, for example, selling at 1,030 in Abuja. And you are saying they should come and buy at 1,010. That's higher than even the retail price, the direct retail price to the ordinary vehicle owner. So it's marks of trying to profiteer on a big scale to the detriment of these marketers. Because if you sell to them at that price, how much do you then expect them to sell to the ordinary Nigerians? And IPMAN was very much concerned about Nigerians, the possibility of Nigerians seeing them as greedy.
As the bad people.
Yes, as greedy people who just want to make money from the misfortune of Nigerians. Because having to buy petrol at such a high price is misfortune to so many people. Many people simply can't afford it. And if they can afford it, especially when electricity is not constant in many communities, people must use petrol. So, at the end of the day, it drills a hole into their pockets. The price at which petrol is being sold now, but it is what it is. Subsidy is not sustainable. There were some Nigerians who sat abroad and were ridiculing President Tinubu for paying subsidy. They said, oh, you said you have removed subsidy, but you are still paying it. We spend a lot of money on subsidy. Because initially when he removed subsidy, many people praised him for the courage. These ones don't want him to get any credit at all. So the moment, as a result of the crash in the value of our currency, the moment the government felt, oh, let's do our best to maintain the current fuel prices, and they began to get NNPC to subsidize the product. NNPC was carrying the burden for everyone. They were the ones shouting on the rooftops, the subsidy is so high. I remember even El-Rufai, the former governor, also coming out to say, we are paying so much by way of subsidy. Now, the government has stopped paying that subsidy, which NNPC called under recovery. What are they saying now? Those who began to make that noise. Because I said something, I said, if you are angry that they've chosen to subsidize this thing so that Nigerians will not buy petrol at a price above 1,000 naira, what are you driving at? What do you want to gain? You want the ordinary Nigerians to buy petrol at higher than 1,000. Government decided to subsidize so that they can buy it around 600, between 600, 650. But you are complaining. You are calling the government names for subsidizing the product. Now that they finally stopped subsidizing, what are you going to say next? Are you happy to see Nigerians pay this much? Because sometimes you do not even know what is the goal of certain people who call themselves analysts. Because for me, whatever will inflict pain on the ordinary man, I believe that government needs to do its best to sacrifice to ensure that the common man doesn't bear that kind of burden. Okay. And that was what government was trying to do, trying to keep the prices stable.
At a level.
But the people are making a noise. It's paying subsidy. The subsidy bill is higher than that of last year. Of course, it will be higher because the value of the naira
has crashed. True.
So all of these arguments, you ask yourself, to what end? Now government has said, okay, we don't want to pay subsidy anymore. Everyone go and buy directly from Dangote now. I believe that what these guys are complaining about is a little overtaken by events, except that they made deposit of 15 billion. And NNPC had not supplied products. So what will NNPC do now? Are they going to be owing those people too, just the way they are owing different entities? So you have to, since you've taken money from them, you are now saying they should top up what they paid for because the price had changed. I know they will find a way to resolve it amongst themselves, but I believe that even if we are saying the NNPC of today should be focused more on profitability, I believe that it makes no sense to sell petrol to independent marketers above your own retail price, the direct retail price. It makes no sense. That means I don't understand the logic behind that. So these guys have a valid reason to complain the way they are complaining. And I don't know, again, whether the policy of stopping, not being the sole off-taker, whether it has kicked off.
That is the issue here.
So I don't know whether it has kicked off. Because yes, they announced, okay, from now, everybody go and buy.
But I wanted to ask you something that, in your opinion, would you say that the petroleum industry has now been fully deregulated?
No, if everybody is now being told to go and buy from Dangote, those who can afford to go and buy from Dangote, then the petroleum downstream is effectively now deregulated, which is what the PIA projected. That's what the PIA wanted to see.
Yeah, Section 205.
And we don't want monopoly, so the PIA does not want to see monopoly, then, which means that other refiners
can also,
and then people can also import. They can import diesel, they can import aviation kerosene, they can import kerosene, whatever. Naphtha they can import.
Okay.
So this is, if everybody is being told go and buy directly, then it means NNPC does not want to bear that burden anymore.
Okay.
And that is why the prices will be much higher than before, and it will have tremendous ripple effects on the ordinary man, on the economy. I still believe that we cannot say that there won't be subsidy in some.
So there needs to still be
some sectors of the economy. No, what I'm saying is in some sectors of the economy.
The sectors of the economy. Okay.
I still believe that there should be subsidy. For example, many countries of the world subsidize transportation.
Okay.
Because once you take transport costs away, workers will be a lot more comfortable. A lot of their money goes to commuting here and there. You can imagine. So I still think that, for example, the CNG thing, government needs to subsidize the conversion kits.
Okay.
So that if we want people to convert to CNG, we need to support them. We need to meet them maybe in the
halfway.
middle. We cannot just say, okay, go and look for money, because it wasn't their fault that prices went up. So we have to, some elements of subsidy must still come into agriculture, you know, by way of fertilizers, seedlings and all that.
Okay.
Subsidy must still come into transportation by way of conversion to CNG, you know, and even removing duty on some of these things that are crucial, so that people can get by and life will be more meaningful for them.
Exactly. CKL, I asked BKO, Nigerians woke up to a new reality with this new price. In your opinion, has the petroleum industry been fully deregulated? Looking at the situation with NNPC and IPMAN, what are your thoughts on that?
Let me start with NNPC. NNPC told us that they bought petroleum from Dangote at 889 naira. So why the heck are they selling at 1,010? There's something fundamentally wrong. That is one. Two, the fact remains that NNPC is no longer the regulator in the industry.
Is now a player.
And the earlier we get this right, the better for us. NNPC is no longer the regulator. We have regulators for the upstream and downstream. What is the work of those this thing? That used to be the PPRE or something.
It's NMDPRE.
What are they? What is their work? For NNPC to be determined how much?
Headed by Farouk.
Yes. So these are fundamentals. That is why most often than not, when I talk,
and the PIA has separated them.
They have separated them, for goodness sake, and that is why I always get a bit worried, because even the ministers that we have, I
don't think that they are fixing price. They are fixing price for their outlets. Unfortunately, no, not for everyone.
Okay.
But unfortunately, because they chose to be sole off-taker.
That is what I'm saying.
Now, the reason when they chose to be sole off-taker, initially, some of the crude oil that Dangote was using, they were bought in dollars.
Okay.
They were not part of the Naira for crude policy.
Okay.
So, definitely, the price will go up a little bit. NNPCL had to come in to ensure stability and also to ensure that we do not pay over the odds. Okay. But suddenly they change their mind. They say, you can't continue like this, and say, okay, let everybody go. So at this point, they can't fix price anymore. They can only fix for their own outlets. But because those guys were buying from them.
That is what I'm saying.
And they had already
they were buying. The policy of being the sole off-taker was what made it look like, okay, they are fixing price. Because what they have bought, they are now selling. We said at that time that it was not sustainable. How can you be middleman to Dangote, for example? You have 4 refineries. You now turn from owner of refinery
the fact remains
middleman.
That in the past few years, it's always NNPC that increases prices of petroleum products. And it's a fact. In the last 1 month, NNPC has increased the price of product by 3 times. And that also affects every other sector. That is fundamental. 2 is the fact that NNPC, the IPMAN has over 70% of the outlets in Nigeria, not NNPC. How many fueling stations does NNPC have? So the key players in this industry is IPMAN, not NNPC.
Not NNPC.
NNPC is in the same line with Dangote. Now, question you ask yourself: NNPC is supposed to have refineries.
What's going on there?
Have you known that we've forgotten everything about Port Harcourt refinery that's supposed to come on?
We don't want to give ourselves hypertension.
Nobody is talking about it again. And those are the fundamental issues and that is why I personally believe that he's supposed to be rolling at the NNPC. We have a Minister of State for Petroleum. What is his job? We have a Minister for Petroleum. Who is the President? What is his job? Because some people have come to see themselves as cabal, and whatever they say becomes law. And that is why, for goodness sake, as he said, the IPMAN has paid over 15 billion naira to NNPC to lift petroleum products. And within this, they've raised the price. And they are saying, okay, if you cannot give us at the old price that we pay, give us back our money. Then let us go and look for it. I think this issue has to be addressed. And NNPC has to see himself. And that is why I'm saying that the regulatory body for upstream and downstream, tell me the job. What is the job? What is their job? What is going on? What are they doing?
That's Farouk.
So that is what we should be asking. What the man was saying, he was saying that the Dangote Petroleum was refining, petroleum was not good, and that Dangote was this, Dangote was not that, trying to demarcate until we be able to sort that. And now let us even take the bit for that. In fact, what we land on peace, for goodness sake, in every country, there is nowhere you have everything has to be at market price. Countries subsidize food. They subsidize electricity. They subsidize petrol. What do Nigerians gain from our government? That is the question we should be asking ourselves. Everything is not, we must put it. Electricity, we are not getting any kind of relief on electricity. In food, we are not getting any relief. In petroleum product, what is it? What is the place of government in the lives of Nigerians? And that is the question we should be asking ourselves. Right, so things need to be, we need to look at it. This needs to be subsidized because anything that affects petroleum affects every other energy, everything. That is the problem. So until we get it right on that, but my own, as I'm writing up the fact, let NNPC focus on making sure that its own refineries are working, so that we don't have a monopoly, which is what we're having now. Anything that Dangote says that is going to sell his petroleum, we're going to stick to that. And that is the problem we're going to have.
Except the imports.
Yes, the alternative is for them to import. Or else we are
those
stuck.
refineries, it will take a while before Bua's refinery.
Come on stream.
Yes, so...
And even the modular refineries, the ones that are in it.
All right, gentlemen, we need to go on this quick break. Okay? And when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go anywhere. It's still journalist Hangout.
Sometimes it's the story that calls. At other times, the people just want to be heard.
School, I need students, but I need teacher.
Can't continue like this.
Their voices re-echoing through time itself.
We haven't done anything. If the tide is high, everybody run for safety.
Their tears leave a sweet sour taste for all their demands. A familiar call beckoning for change. In our world, no one expects a disaster to happen. But when it does, we'll be there to x-ray all sides, from the east to the west, north and south. Committee Forum will examine the oddities and challenges to economic development, as well as issues yearning for government intervention. Watch fresh episodes of Community Forum on Sundays by 9:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Wires and cables, come and come back, light up your life. Come and want to light up your house, come and want to give you better, come and extraordinary wire. Come and cables, come and wires, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable, come and cables, come and wires, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable. Everybody. Home and buyers, wonder things. Brother, sister, uncle, auntie, go get your own. Home and wires, home and cables, home and quality, home and durable, home and capable. Home and wires, home and cables, home and quality, home and durable, home and capable.
Home and wires and cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have CKN and Babajide Koladu Titoju. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. As the rains and the attendant floods persist nationwide, there is the need for more precautionary measures. As such, the federal government has inaugurated an inter-ministerial technical committee on dam evaluations. The inauguration was approved by President Bola Tinubu in the quest to assess the physical conditions of dams across the country to ensure their usefulness, safety, and impact on communities. The committee members include the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, as the chairman, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wali Edu, and that of the Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and other top government officials. During the inaugural meeting, Professor Utsev emphasized that the committee is to ensure that the government mitigated life-threatening impacts on the people, the environment, and the economy. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, disclosed that the federal government has approved the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Fund to rehabilitate dams and irrigation and other facilities across the country. All right, BKO, well, will you consider this move by the federal government to assess the conditions of the dams as proactive?
Yes, and if we had done this before now, the disaster that happened in Borno State wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Because there were some issues with the dam. I think they needed to repair the spillway, but that was taking some time, and before it could be fixed properly, coupled with climate change issues, irregular rainfall pattern, and all that, we saw what happened. So what the federal government is doing is to look at the dams, look at our dams, and assess their current state and see where we can intervene. Already now, Tiga Dam in Kano is being rehabilitated,
Okay.
Then the Mangu Dam in Plateau State, that's also ongoing. Then it's Ogbere. I've not heard of that community before, in Ekiti State. Constructing a dam there. Then Onyon Dam.
Onyon Dam, okay.
Is it Onyon? Onyon Dam, which is located in Abeokuta North Local Government. Because the dam actually crosses the Onyon River, which is a tributary of the Ogun River that is meant to provide raw water for Lagos and Ogun State, and also meant to provide hydropower, because it has the capacity to generate 9 megawatts. But we've not explored the hydro component of that dam. And that dam, every year, they have to release water, especially in the dry season, the hot dry season, and it spills into Lagos and Ogun State. People's houses get flooded. People's houses get, people's farms get washed away. Now, they are planning to channelize areas like Isheri, where this water usually causes problems once it is released. Their plan is also to desilt our dams. Look at those dams. Based on the plan that the Minister of Water Resources presented at ESCO, they are going to desilt those dams. They are going to also desilt the tributaries of those dams. They will desilt the tributaries of River Niger, River Benue, so that they will have expanded capacity,
to take more
water rather than spilling onto our communities and destroying farmlands. But most importantly, they are going to build 5 new dams along the River Niger and the Benue corridors, so that when these Cameroonians release water from Lagdo Dam, those dams that they are going to build along the Benue Valley will now take in, and stop the water from spilling onto communities, submerging communities, rendering people homeless, and even destroying families every year. So this can't continue. Now, those states usually affected by the release are Kogi, Edo, Benue, Adamawa, Delta, Anambra, Bayelsa Rivers, and Cross River. Every state that both rivers, Niger and Benue, pass through, once they release this water, it affects them. So now, those dams will be situated along those states, in those states, so that those 5 dams will be located in those states, so that they can do the job of helping us to contain the water. There was a project that was abandoned by previous administrations. It's called the Dasin Hausa Dam. That dam was originally designed to contain the water from Lagdo Dam. It's supposed to be built in Adamawa State. Now the government has said they are going to build this dam now. This government has said they will now build the dam, because I also read about complaints from people that why didn't they do that dam at that time? Because it was announced, but they never built the dam.
This was in which administration?
It was during the Buhari's regime. They talked about building the dam. So people are saying, this is something that they could have done, because it had even been in the pipeline before Buhari came. Buhari promised to build it. He didn't build it. Now, people are saying, why? This government is saying that they are going to build that Dasin Hausa Dam, which will help us contain this water once it's built. So they are at the study stage now, and design, and the state of design. So hopefully this administration will kick off that project. Once they kick off that project and build those new dams along the corridor. Certainly, this flooding of people's homes, flooding of farmlands, whenever they release the water, will be a thing of the past because they must release the water. After all, here in this Onyo Dam, we also release the water. If you wait for the dam to break, it will kill people. It will cause a lot of destruction. So the best thing is to release the water, gradually, the excess water gradually, not to wait until calamity happens. So I'm happy that steps are being taken because excessive rainfall will happen. Climate change is a reality. We should not deceive ourselves anymore. But we have to prepare for the eventualities, and this is what the government has set out to do. It's not just throwing money at, because the other day I read that they are going to give states affected by flood 3 billion to share. You don't just throw money at these problems. Take steps like the ones we are talking about now, and I'm sure that it will really help.
All right, Sikian, is this move coming a bit too late, right after the Maiduguri disaster?
It's never late than better late than never.
Better late than never.
It's better late than never. It's just quite unfortunate the way those that rule us or rule over us behave. If you look at most of these dams that we are talking about, some were built in the 70s, they were built in the 80s.
We have 340 dams.
Some were built in the 70s, some were built in the... And some of them, there have not been any level of maintenance since they were built. Not that they are not supposed to be maintained, but the funds that were provided for the maintenance were siphoned by some people. Generations over generation. So what happened in Borno became an eye-opener. But it's been happening before them because periodically you see that when it comes to the rainy season and the water is released, especially from Cameroon, which they always warn us, then we always having issues. And just as I said, there was supposed to be more like a buffer measure on the part of Nigeria. Because when Cameroon did theirs, they asked Nigeria also to be theirs.
Yes.
So that they can be able to contain whatever they really... When you look at the video of when any dam is released, if you see the volume of water that comes out, you'll be shocked. We have been so lucky that most of those dams have not collapsed. If they collapse, the colossal loss of life. You see what ecological this thing is happening. Look at the one that is happening in the United States.
Yeah.
As big as US are with the level of technology they have, the tsunami. And that is why we are very lucky in this part of the world.
Katrina.
What we have here, our own tsunami is bad leadership. And God has a way of distributing this thing because if He has given us some of the disasters that happen in other parts of the world, then it will be too much. Then, too, is because then we have not effectively tapped into the benefit of dams. It's not just only for power. Irrigation, aggregation, agriculture. We are talking of lack of food in Nigeria. If we are able to tap fully into the use of this dam, we will see that all year round, we'll be having food, plenty.
Dry season
farming, the type of season, we will have all year round. And my own personal point is that I personally, my own position, whether we're going to rethink our constitution. You see this money, this ecological money that is always be given to states, I think it should be stopped. My personal opinion. Yes.
Why?
Because they don't use it. They are not calculated. It's free money. It's just like the security vote for the governors. I run a TV program. I spoke to the Commissioner of Environment of one of the Southwest states. Just about 3-4 weeks like on my program. And I asked him, I said, Honorable Commissioner, I know that this and this is happening in your state. What are you doing with the ecological fund that is being given to your state? He said, seeking live on my program. He said, I have never seen that fund. That fund has never been made available to my ministry. That is the Commissioner of Environment in a state in the Southwest. So probably what we need to do is rethink this issue, probably the money that has been given to this state. Some receive billions and billions of naira on a monthly basis. Unaccounted for. They don't use it for what they do is just siphon the money, convert it just the way they do it back.
That's what sent Daddy to jail.
Yes.
If you remember.
Yes, exactly. And that is what happens. So if we channel all this kind of this thing,
they will use the money to fund the parties, political parties.
Political party, they use it to do all sorts of these things. The money that was given for the palliative that was given the state, what have they done with it? You can name 1 or 2, 3 states that were able to utilize it. The rest, go and look for where those palliatives.
And no one holds the governors to
the government, including Buhari, at a point was giving money, more like a shortfall, to certain states so that they could be able to bring down the issue of the kind of what we're having in the state with hunger and the rest of them. Go and ask what those money were used for by the states. So when we continue to hit on the federal, the fact is that we also have to also look at the microscope of the local government and also especially the state government. What the state governors are doing is what we call inhumanity to humanity, because these guys, they are so wicked that they don't even care what happens in the state, because majority of the people we are talking about live in the states. There's nothing like somebody living in the federation. They are in the state. You ask your governor, the money that was voted for so, what are they doing? And you know why? Because the governors have pocketed the state houses of assembly. They cannot do anything. The so-called overstrike function they are supposed to be doing, they don't do anything. If any speaker raises his voice, he will be impeached the next day. If any of the House of Representative members, it's even good for National Assembly members. If any of the state House of Assembly legislator is there, he will be suspended until the end of that government. And they will make sure that the governor will make sure that he will not return.
Just because he called for accountability.
So that is the problem.
All right, let's talk a bit more about money now. But Bike, are you confident that when the committee now comes up with the reports and everything, will funds be released swiftly to tackle the issue?
We have issues with quick release of funds,
exactly.
No doubt. But the president is interested in this, and all we can plead for is that the committee should do its work quickly. We have a square peg in a round, we have a round peg in a round hole in the Minister of Water Resources.
Okay.
He's a water engineer. He is very experienced, very knowledgeable. He knows where all those dams are. You know? And so he's a good person to have in that ministry, and he's doing his best. He's doing his best. So all they can do for him is support him as members of that committee to help us solve these problems. People can't farm and then watch their farmlands being washed away by floods. It's demoralizing. And some of these floods are avoidable if we commit ourselves to doing what is right. Climate action. Nigeria is not doing enough in the area of climate action. Many of us still live in denial. But climate change is real. Climate change is real, and the earlier we address those issues, the better for us. People are felling trees all over the place.
Taking nature for granted.
They do not know that these trees that they are felling are usually our first defense.
Sure.
You know? So felling of trees anyhow is not helping anyone. Global warming is real, and we are seeing regular rainfall patterns that you can't predict, and they come with big consequences. So I hope that money will be released once they are through with the committee work. Good recommendations will be made, and the Minister of Water Resources will get down to brass tacks and deliver.
So the issue, also is when you're talking of release of money, I don't know whether there was an appropriation for it in the 2024 budget. If there's none, that means they have to go back to the National Assembly.
For supplementary?
For supplementary, yes, of course. They have to ask for supplementary. And I hope that the National Assembly will see the wisdom in the need for them to make sure that such an appropriation is quickly passed so that they can get work. But coming back to what BK said, which also has to do with environmental, we're talking about falling of trees and the rest of them is interwoven. when the price, ask yourself, how much is the price of kerosene? Ask yourself, how much is the price of gas?
Gas, 12.5, 17,000.
Then, if people cannot be able to afford gas, they cannot afford kerosene, what will they resort? They go into the bush and start cutting down the trees to use firewood. Most people are going back to firewood. Even charcoal now is very, very expensive. So that is why we've always talked about this issue of energy. I don't think
that's an excuse for you to...
No, relax. You are in town. I'm talking of villages. You are talking of people in the remote villages. I'm not talking of people like you that can afford gas and you don't even use kerosene.
No, you don't.
No. I'm talking of people in the remote villages. People that cannot afford the meal. We have to go to the farm, get for them to get what they eat. When the price of rice is about 100,000 naira.
All right.
So those are the issues. So when we have policies, which is why I'm saying that this issue of dams are this topic we're discussing is a very, very fundamental topic we are talking about. And we hope that the government will make sure that once this committee come up with recommendations, we don't start delaying and start setting up a committee again to look at the recommendation of, we do what we should do.
All right,
we send up committee to look at the recommendation of the committee, and before we know, and we've lost that.
We suffer from this, everyone. I live in Akute. I pass through Denro. Every time that the water from that Onyo Dam is released, we all suffer it. It affects people. I see
even
people.
Even Lagos, but that's what
so now they are planning to channelize that area. That is Sherry.
Okay.
They have to start it quickly. We have to push them to start the channelization so that that water will no longer be causing the damage that is causing. So some of the work they've started already. We just need to encourage them. Let's see how far they can go with these dams. Yes, we need to do something about these dams. Rehabilitate them, desilt them, make them expand their capacity to take in water, so that.
All right, gentlemen, away from dam, let's talk politics now, where a wave of suspension and counter-suspension has thrown the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, deeper into confusion. The battle for the soul of the PDP came to a head as two factions within the party's National Working Committee, NWC, went on a suspension spree before a court order barred any group from removing the acting national chairman, Ilia Damagum. The first salvo was fired when the Damagum-led group announced the suspension of the National Legal Advisor, Adeyemi Ajibade, and the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba. The suspended group responded by also announcing the sack of Damagum and the party's National Secretary, Samuel Ayaun. Now, following the purported suspension of Damagum as the acting national chairman, the faction announced the appointment of Yayari Hakmet Mohammed as the acting national chairman. In the midst of the crisis, the PDP Board of Trustees appealed for peace. Now let's share the story by TVC News, Femi Akonde, with you.
The court may have given a breather to Umar Damagum, acting national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, but the problems of the party still persist. The acting national chairman and national secretary survived an onslaught from inside the party, carried out by a section of the National Working Committee. But it seems the casualties are Debo Ologunagba and Kamaldeen Ajibade, National Publicity Secretary and National Legal Advisor, respectively.
The crisis we are experiencing are emanating as a result of trying to advance the interest in-house, and is expected in a house. Even in family cycles, you have problems between spouses and the children, not to now talk of a larger house as big as the PDP. And with 13 governors, for crying out loud, and for ruling this country for 16 years, the beautiful moment throughout Nigerian history. One will expect this kind of developments. But if you don't believe it, then I wonder what you will believe in this country.
But shortly after the purported announcement of Damagum's suspension, Yayari Ahmed Mohammed was announced as the interim acting national chairman of the party. Though he is yet to officially assume office in the capacity of chairman, his appointment was announced by the suspended National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba. Mr. Ologunagba's press statement accused the acting national chairman, Damagun, in the case involving the 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly who vacated their seats upon decamping from the PDP to the All Progressives Congress.
As the highest ranking officer, in view of the suspension of Omar Damagu and other renegade national officers of the party who embarked on shameful anti-party activities because of selfish, greedy political and material interests, have paved the way for the highest officer from the northern part of the country, which is Yayari.
The coming days will be interesting as it will determine if the crisis will continue to escalate or if the appeal for calm by the Board of Trustees will prevail. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
All right, beautiful reports there from Femi Akonde. So, Mikhail, the battle for the soul of the PDP thickens. There's been suspension, counter-suspensions here and there.
Tit for tat
suspension. But really, what is going on in the PDP?
You see, the politics of 2027 is very much in the air, the PDP. In the PDP today, there are two main tendencies. One tendency is committed to ensuring that Atiku Abubakar does not become the presidential candidate of the party. They believe that they've indulged him too much. He's been a serial contestant on the platform of the party. And their argument is that he does not own the party. There are other people in the party. So a lot of these young people, including some of the sitting governors, will do whatever it takes to make sure Atiku doesn't get there. The feeling is that people like Wike belong to that opposite, that tendency that doesn't want Atiku to continue to maintain his ascendancy in the party. Because if you look at it, Atiku, I think, has contested like 6 times now. When going back to 1992.
Yes.
He's contested like 6 times. If you contest again, he will be chasing the 15th American president, Abraham Lincoln,
who contested
repeatedly and eventually became president. So Atiku sees himself as the Nigerian version of Abraham Lincoln, the man who said no man is good enough to govern another person without the person's consent. You know? So, this is the battle. You, Atiku, you must not get there. Wike, we must do whatever it takes to stop you. Atiku sees in Wike somebody bent on stopping him.
Okay.
Yes. And what happened in 2023 election showed clearly. You saw that even when they sent dollars to Rivers State, Wike and his people, they got wind of the information, seized the money, got the security people to seize the money. So, and he didn't support the candidate of his party, which was Atiku, you know, and he has no regret about that. He even said it publicly. So, they will keep tugging at each other's coattails because they have conflicting interests. Atiku has not ruled out another
2027
bite of the cherry. He still wants another shake of the dice. And these people who are younger are feeling that, look, what's going on? This party was not created for you. So what we have seen now, because the Rivers issue, the legal advisor of the party wanted the party to take a stand that the Martin Amewule and
Martin Amewule, the lawmakers,
had defected to the APC. But Damagum and the secretary of the party, Sam Anyanwu, overruled him. And so they believe that proved fatal to their case.
Okay.
So they have not forgiven him. People like Ugochinyere, I see him, he is far more interested in Rivers matters than even his home state of Imo. It's like he's even resident in Rivers State. So is somebody opposed to what Wike represents. Wike too is opposed to what Atiku represents. This is the main fight. Unfortunately for the people who are against Wike, Wike appears to enjoy the confidence of the sitting governors of the party, at least most of them.
Okay.
Yes, at least most of them. And of course, that support cuts across geopolitical zones. Yes, he may have had his issues with Bala Mohammed of Bauchi, but he still retains the support of a good number of those governors. Some of them are not talking, but they have some level of sympathy,
for him.
Now, Damagum's argument is you cannot remove me except through the convention of the party.
Okay.
Because I'm chairman, and the law says, oh, you cannot. So he cited, so I'm trying to get the portion of the law that they've been quoting. So once, and Ologunagba and the national advisor, legal advisor, Kamaruddin Ajibade, they had been accusing Damagum and Anyanwu of anti-party activities. For that reason, Damagum felt the need to suspend them.
Okay.
And then they now countered that by also saying that they have suspended the acting chairman. But the point is, let us see who will occupy the...
Sure.
Because you see from Femi's story that the acting chairman, that the acting chairman
has not even resumed.
Yes, because the question is how many governors
will be behind
them. You can see the governor of Bauchi State said, no, there's no crisis within the party. We are going to resolve our issues. They don't appear to support the faction that counter-suspended the acting. It's just a power play. But I know that in the end, what people would want to see is who really is in charge. Who really is in charge.
Okay.
I think that Damagum still retain
the support
of a good number of the governors. And is confident that it can only be removed by the National Convention, which is the highest decision-making organ
of the PDP,
of both the PDP and the APC, because their constitutions are similar.
Okay.
So maybe they will call for a National Convention and get him out of the way. But without the majority of the governors,
it will be impossible.
It will be possible because they fund the party and they are very influential.
Sure.
So if the moment he loses the support of those governors, he knows he's gone.
He knows he's gone.
Because many of us felt that, when they had that last meeting, that Wike would not even be allowed into the premises.
Yes.
But it was the governor of Oyo State who even went to his car to bring him into the meeting. So it's a complex game that they are playing. And I think that at the end of the day, it is 2027. Because whoever seizes control of the party, you can see the extent to which that person can use it.
Exactly.
You saw what happened with Atiku. Wike continues to argue that a presidential candidate, based on the rules governing the presidential...
the constitution of the party.
Not based on the rules governing the conduct of the presidential primaries.
Okay.
A presidential candidate having spoken once cannot come back and speak again. But during the last presidential primaries of the party, Tambuwal, having spoken the first time, came back and spoke again and told the supporters to vote for Atiku. So he did not forgive the national chairman for that.
For allowing that?
Yes, because the national chairman bent the rules. And unfortunately for them, there was a video that leaked where the chairman called Tambuwal the hero of the convention. So he then exposed in bold relief the fact that he was complicit or that he appeared to support the other group against Wike. So Wike did not forgive him. And the other day they took him to court. They got him out of the way. That Ayu, they got him out of the way. Ayu is no longer talked about as a chairman of the party.
Exactly.
So this train will rumble for some time, but we'll see.
But the target is 2027.
Of course. Everything revolves around.
Everything revolves around 2027. But TK, some members of the party, they've been accused of anti-party activities. You heard that report. But can we say the PDP is going through some sort of house cleaning? And how effective will this go to revive the party?
First and foremost, we have to look at it from the point of what you ask issue of anti-party activity. Personally, onto the issue of Wike, until PDP comes out to deal with the issue of Wike, the party will continue to go the way it is going. If you are talking of anti-party activities, number one culprit is Nyesom Wike.
Should they discipline him or reconcile him?
If there was a committee that was set up
there's
for
a disciplinary
reconciliation,
committee.
that is the question you should ask yourself. What has been the outcome? But let me just stretch it a bit further. First and foremost, PK was talking about the issue of Atiku Abubakar contesting and recontesting several times as a Syriac. The Constitution of Nigeria allows anybody to contest as many times as possible. Let us even take it a bit further. How many times did Muhammad Buhari contest?
Nobody is saying
contest. I understand. I'm just saying
but
that
they don't want. They believe that the party does not belong to
one person.
But I'm just talking about. Let's talk about Buhari. Buhari contested. In fact, by the time he contested the third time, he said he was not going to contest again until they went to beg him to come and contest. I think the fourth time
contested in different parties. Atiku contested. If you look at how many times from PDP alone, Atiku has contested, and not just contested. He's been flag bearer.
We're saying
the PDP repeatedly.
We are saying
that's why they are saying does the party belong to
wait. From 1999, there's only one party that has not changed its name, and that is PDP. So even if CPC, what's the name? Was it CPC?
Abga has not changed its name.
Abga was Abga in 1999.
Yes,
but Abga is not that here, not there. I'm talking of
Abga is the second oldest party in Nigeria.
I'm talking of the two CPC, what was APC before, and the rest of them came together to form the present APC. Buhari contested under AMPP.
Yes.
He contested under CPC, which now both parties collapsed and to come. APC. So he contested the fourth time or so. He got it. Don't think that is not what Atiku is also believing, that one day he might decide to get it. But coming back to the question you asked me a question specific. And no, anti-party activities.
Okay, anti-party activities, okay.
Now, during the 2023 election, of which Nyesom Wike contested, I remember vividly that during the contest, I said that he said that he was going to support any candidate
from the south.
Not the south. Any candidate that wins the primary of the party.
Okay,
yes.
He was also on the...
Yes, so Wike said that publicly. Whether it was Zimo or whoever that's going to come.
Before the primaries.
Before the primaries, he said that. Now, when they had the primary, where the problem started when they had the primary, Adina said, initially was saying that he was supposed to go to the south. When they now had the primary, he said, okay, the problem now is that The chairman of the party and the presidential candidate cannot come from the same region.
Yes.
Looking at the constitution of the party.
No, there was no constitution. I think it's a gentleman. I don't know whether PDP constitution says that. I think it was a gentleman agreement. I don't know. I can't say.
Was it a gentleman?
I don't know. I don't know.
They've never, in fact, on the eve of the primaries that Jonathan won for the 2015 election, on the eve of the primaries, they had to change the national chairman.
That's what I'm saying. So they
had to change so that Ogbulafor will not be.
Ogbulafor is from the
because Jonathan was the candidate of. Was the person that they wanted as the sitting president.
Yes.
So they had to get another person to contest.
So
that the two of them won't come from the same.
Same
they had to change their national chairman. So this was the first time that they will come from the same
region.
So Shegun, no matter whatever it is, and that is the problem we're having now, is that we don't have these political parties are not as disciplined as what we used to have in the past. The days of UPN, MPP, and the rest of them, you cannot do most of them can do what they are doing. No matter whoever, Wike was not one of the founding fathers of PDP. They are still founding fathers of. So if what.
But their own argument was that when people like Atiku abandoned the party, jumping from party to party, Wike remained and was the sole financier of the party. This is the reason why he has a lot of sympathizers. He was funding the party when others abandoned.
Let me tell you one thing. There is a saying in my village. I will give you a saying in my village. There's a proverb. No, let me just drop on this. There's a proverb in my place that that is what. Let me tell you what it means. I will not, because my father reincarnated to become my son, I will not kill him with food. What that means is that there is nothing Wike has done that so many other people have not done for political parties.
All right.
So what I'm saying in essence is that the fact is that for PDP to get it right, there are two factors. Yes. No, I didn't say they will have to explain. There are two camps in PDP now. One is led by Wike. The second one is led by the Bauchi state governor. Until they be these two able to come together and reconcile themselves, PDP will continue to have the problem.
Let's hope maybe the BOT will be able to do that to bring peace to the party.
The BOT chairman himself was hailing the governor of a rival party, the governor of Abia. You have your own candidate there, and you are praising the governor from
Abia State.
That's why they say you are BOT. You call yourself PDP, and you are praising.
When Wike was a governor, he was inviting people from other political parties to come and commission project.
I'm not talking about commissioning. He was hailing that one.
All right, gentlemen.
If the man is performing, why not? It can be used as an example.
All right, gentlemen. Let's move straight to another topic. It is still no retreat, no surrender regarding the political crisis rocking Rivers State. In the latest development, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has affirmed Martin Amewule as the recognized Speaker of the State House of Assembly. In a unanimous judgment, the three-member panel of the Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal filed by Governor Siminalayi Fubara for lack of merit. The appellate court upheld the January 2022 judgment of the Federal High Court, Justice James Omotosho, which nullified the 2024 budget of 800 million naira on the grounds that it was not presented before members of the State House of Assembly as required by law. The court also held that Governor Fubara's decision to present the 2024 Rivers State Appropriation Bill to only 4 out of 31 members of the Assembly constituted a gross violation of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Now let's share the story by TVC News Celestina Iria with you.
The court ruled that the budget should be represented to the House of Assembly led by Martin Amewule. The appellate court struck out the appeal filed by the governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, on the grounds that it lacked merit. The court held that Governor Fubara had withdrawn his counter-affidavit at the lower court in the matter and as such cannot commence an appeal on the said matter. The court also held that a party must be consistent with his case. A party cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. The court said Governor Fubara is using his immunity to carry out executive lawlessness. It added that as a governor, he is expected to apply the rule of law and not the rule of mind, insisting the situation of Rivers State Assembly is an executive dictatorship by the governor and a joke taken too far. The court also said where a person makes an attempt to disregard an order of court, the court must do everything to protect the order and sanctity of the rule of law.
Court of Appeal this afternoon affirmed the decision of the Supreme, and in affirming same clearly stated that Right Honorable Martin Chike Amewule is the authentic speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
The Court of Appeal came with a sound, comprehensive and conclusive pronouncement on it, that it amounts to a caricature for 4 members of the House of Assembly to sit and claim that they are deliberating on any issue. The Constitution requires 2/3 for issues that require, like the impeachment of a speaker or the governor, and 1/3 as the number required to conduct the business of the House of Assembly.
We heard today is that the Court of Appeal has once again admonished and scolded the governor of Rivers State. We know, I've always told the media, that the governor has sworn that he has immunity and that he will never obey any judgment. Today, the Court of Appeal emphasized that point and reprimanded the governor for all his actions that are against the Constitution and laws of this country.
A cost of 500,000 naira was awarded in favor of each of the respondents from the 1st to the 12th against the appellant. Aside the judgment delivered by Justice James Omotosho, Justice Peter Linfu of the Federal High Court here in Abuja on 20th September restrained INEC from declaring vacant the seat of the 27 lawmakers on grounds that a suit filed seeking to declare the seats vacant was statute barred. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
Now let's take a trip to Rivers State. We have a situation where Governor Siminalayi Fubara, he said he's been operating on an illegal budget in the eyes of the law. Okay. Now, Mike, what are the implications of the Court of Appeal upholding the Federal High Court decision? What are the implications?
The governor has appealed, but the appeal is a waste of time.
Really?
Yes, because that case was already dead. The moment the governor withdrew his counter affidavit, because those guys actually went to court seeking to affirm their position as lawful members of the House. But as part of the conditions that the governor was asked to meet after the meeting with the president, he came back to Rivers State and withdrew. You know, he fulfilled some of those conditions, some he refused to do.
Exactly.
So one of the things he did was to withdraw that matter. Now, having withdrawn the matter, it is deemed as that the case is closed, and that the case that those guys brought before the court had succeeded.
Okay.
Yes, that is the argument. You cannot now go on appeal over a matter that you had withdrawn.
Exactly.
Look at what the judge said now. He said the decision, let me see, this is Justice Oiwole. He said the challenges of the appeal by the appellant are self-inflicted. It is an act of indiscipline for the governor to sign the bill. Presentation happened in the government house after the demolition. He said lack of contention at the lower court renders his case meritless because he had withdrawn it, so he didn't challenge those guys' position. So you can't build something on nothing. That case is dead because the court held that Fubara conceded for the lawmakers when he withdrew all the processes he filed against the suit. Oh. So by withdrawing all those words, you've already. So you can now go and appeal a matter that is deemed to have died at the level of the lower court because it was not challenged.
So if he had not
it's just like if you file a case out of time, for example, you've lost. If you file a case out of time, you've lost. It's just similar to what happened now. Then if you withdrew a matter from court, you can't then go to the court seeking to enforce what you had already said you are not interested in anymore. And that, the argument of the court is simple. So the judgment, after he withdrew, the case, the Justice Omotosho ordered him to go and present that represent the budget. Of course, he did not represent the budget. He's been pushing to have those guys disqualified, that they are not members of the House.
Of the House,
now,
because of the defection.
The appeal court also affirmed the position of Justice Omotosho that 4 persons cannot represent a 31-man House of Assembly. And the Supreme Court has ruled on this matter in the past that, look, you need 2/3 of the members of the Assembly to take big decisions like impeachment and all that. So those 3 guys, in the eyes of the law, do not represent the House.
All right, CKN, let's talk practicality now. All right, the 2024 budget has almost run its course. We are in what month now? We are in October. And there's already talk of the 2025 budget. I understand the appeal court ruling, but translating it into practical terms, what does this mean?
Well, just as Biko said, the governor shot himself on the foot. And I don't know whether I will blame him or not blame him, because he probably didn't see this coming. When they went to Abuja to see the president, they were told to withdraw all cases. On the issue of this budget, he withdrew from the case. But the legislators were smarter than him. They refused to withdraw. They didn't withdraw theirs. And the case continued. But let us get this one thing clear. I've been seeing our colleagues making a lot of write-up and pronouncement that they called him. There's nowhere in that judgment that the judge talk about recognition of the lawmakers that defected. That issue was not canvassed.
Yeah, the Rivers State Attorney General also reacted to that.
That is, everybody, even the major newspapers were quoting that, no, it was not.
I think it's interpretatively.
It's so.
If it says, if the judgment says, go and present it before those 27 people, what does it say interpretatively? No, I'm just asking. Because it's interpretative journalism that a lot of those guys are doing.
That is law that's interpreted. You said the court cannot give you what you know. As well, you mentioned it.
Now, the court said, wait, just, I know we don't have time. The court said, go and represent. Will they tell you to represent to an illegal entity?
No, we're getting something wrong.
No, what is the judgment of the court? Go and represent.
What the court,
to whom?
What the court
look
said
at what BK said.
Yes.
Will you represent to
whom will you represent to?
Shegun, relax. I am telling you that in that judgment, the judge, you cannot interpret what the judge did not say, whether you're a journalist or not. Let us get the fact right.
We're asking the question. He said, go and represent.
The fact that say go and represent. No, he said go and represent. It's the whole house. He's not saying that go and represent to 27 members. Go and represent. There's supposed to be a house. A house is made up, whether those that defected or those that know. What I'm saying in essence is that let us not make the mistake that we are making, saying that the court did not say that that issue is still in court. That issue has not been ruled on. The court has not ruled on that matter.
So until the court rules on that, when will
that is why you can say that no.
All right, because because of our time, let's talk peace.
Yes,
the peace.
The peace.
Now this matter is going from appeal court to Supreme Court. what should be done in order to have peace? Should there be a round table?
It is for Wike and the governor to come together and solve this issue.
Who should bring them together?
The president have tried to bring them together.
Should the president interfere?
The president have done. The president have done.
The courts will decide.
The courts will decide.
The courts will decide. There are many cases. The courts will decide. When the courts decide, this whole nonsense will end. You can't have 4 persons run a house. The Supreme Court has ruled on this matter in the past. And even in this judgment, the court said the decision to present the 2024 appropriation bill to only 4 members out of 31 amounted to gross violation of Section 91 of the 1999 Constitution. It means that what he did, presenting the budget to 4 persons at that time, they are now down to 3. Is wrong.
That is
and
what
they are saying
it's illegal.
They are saying you go and represent it to a house of 31.
That is what I'm saying.
So it's not that means the judgment did not take out the 27 people.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
The government said present
to the house. It didn't say present to 27. It said present to the house.
Present to the house
of those 3 and also the whole house.
That means the judgment does not say that those guys are not house members.
That is what happened. Yes.
All right.
But it did not say that they.
Okay, CK.
There are people interpreting it the way they like. Whatever suits you politically, you twist judgment to suit but
all right, thank you very much,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having this conversation.
Thank you very much.
BK the veteran. Thank you very much. And that's all on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for another regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Events for the month of October.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Honey, what time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
The TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
You and your health with Dr. Richard Okoye, now on TVC News every Sunday by 3:30 p.m.
Hello. What a wonderful opportunity for us to be together again in this special edition of You and Your Health. I remain your friend, Dr. Richard Okoye, the president of Dr. Save a Life Foundation. Today's edition will sound prophetic. As I will be speaking, you'll be seeing practical experiences of our women. Now, when you talk about a women problem, you know that the man is also in trouble. So what actually happened in a woman's health that from the age of 40, 45 and upward, it seems as if a lot of things rapidly change to the point that it will start causing both her health problem, causing her relationship problem, causing her marital problem, causing her sexual life problems. These and many more we will be able to reveal today and save a lot of our women that are currently right now confused, passing through what they can't explain. And the good news is here. Majority of them today, by reason of this program, we have instant solution. We all have them in the house and talking, have them as friends, as relatives and other. Call everyone you know. let's be able to look at how we can help our women as they transit through a very vital moment of their lives, 40 years and above. Do that, I'll be right back.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye, now on TVC News every Sunday by 3:30 p.m.